Welcome back to CSU Northridge's Chemistry 101 Laboratory Pre-Lab videos. My name is Alex Machinona, and I'm going to go ahead and guide you through Experiment 8, which is on acid-base titrations. So, acid-base titrations are exactly what they sound like. You're taking an acid, you're adding it to a base, or vice versa. Now, when we're setting up our titrations, we're going to go ahead and set them up on one of our stands that we've used throughout the semester. Our stand is this guy right here, has a black base with a metal rod poking straight up. And we're going to take one of these burette clamps, and these burette clamps, you'll notice, has a little screw right here in the front. Now that screw has a little latch here on the back that if we slide this guy on and then we tighten that screw up, it's going to latch on and tighten up. So we'll go ahead and tighten this guy up, and now we have our burette clamp on our stand. The last thing we need, of course, is our burette. So this is a 25 milliliter burette. We used this early in the semester. And all you have to do is you'll squeeze these guys together, you'll insert it in, and then you'll release, and then it'll grab on nice and tight. And now you have your burette standing up. Now, for the first day of your experiment, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking an acid that we know the concentration, and then we're going to standardize a base with it, meaning we're going to make a base and then we're going to find the exact concentration of that base by comparing it to our known standard of acid. So when we do that, we're going to make our basic solution. So in this bottle right here, I have our basic solution, which is not really that basic. And on the other hand, I have our acidic solution, which is not really acidic. In fact, they're both water. But in this case, we're just going to label them as acid and base. Now, whenever we're working with things, as your instructors have mentioned before, you need to put on your goggles. So in this lab, more than any others, now that we're dealing with actually strong acids and strong bases, we're going to make sure that we're wearing them for this lab. So we'll go ahead, throw on our goggles here. There are a few things that students tend to do when we are adding our acids or we're making our bases. The first thing that we actually have to do is we take a few milliliters of our base, we add it into the reagent bottle. So we're going to take about 8.6 milliliters, add it into this reagent bottle, then add 500 milliliters, and then we'll shake it up, and then we'll have our base. Now, once we have our base, we're going to fill our burette. So the best way to fill up that burette is to take one of these short stem funnels, insert it at the top, nice and slow, we don't want to break the glass. We'll open up our base. We're going to lift up our funnels ever so slightly, and we're going to go ahead and gently pour in our basic solution. And it will fill up towards the top. Now, if you do it right, you'll get right about at the 0 line. So the 0 means that we have not added anything in. But these burettes are relatively arbitrary in the sense that whatever point you start at, if you subtract it from the next point that you go down to, that's how much volume you added. So in this case, we're going to look at it, and I'm not quite at 0. I would say I'm at about 0.1. So we're at 0.1. Then we're going to go ahead and take our acid and then put it into the Erlenmeyer flask below. So when we add our acid in, what I'd suggest you do is you're not going to take your pipette and stick it directly in the reagent bottle. That is a big no-no. You're going to contaminate your solution. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a little bit of that acid, we'll pour it into a beaker, into a clean, dry beaker. You'll take it back with you to your desk, and then you'll use your transfer pipette that we were using earlier in the semester, you'll go ahead and take 10 milliliters of this guy, of your known acid, and we'll transfer it over into an Erlenmeyer flask. So again, I'm going to bring it up to eye level to make sure that we're right at 0. I'm going to stop it there. Transfer this guy over just by taking my thumb off the top. I'm going to let it drain all the way out. And then once it drains, we're going to go ahead and add 50 milliliters of deionized water. So we'll just go ahead and take 50 milliliters that I've already measured out, and then we'll go ahead and pour it slowly into our Erlenmeyer flask. And the 50 milliliters doesn't have to be exact because you're not actually going to be changing the amount of moles. The moles that you're going to get is going to be from the 10 milliliters you took with your transfer pipette of the acid. All right, so now we have our solution set up. It's ready to be titrated. We're at 0.10. We're going to write that down. Then we're going to go ahead and open it up. So the first thing that happens when it opens up is your volume is going to come out. Now, if we have our actual indicator in there and we have a basic solution in here, you're going to notice some slight pink coloring happening. But in this case, since we're just using water all across the board, we're not going to see it. We'll wait for you to actually do it in class. So you're going to have this our titration going, and if you did it right, you can go all the way up the first, I'd say 12 or 13 milliliters, so down to the 13 mark without any problems. So once you get to about 13 milliliters, you'll stop it. And from there, you'll give it a good swirl. Pink color should go away. And then we'll go ahead and do our titrations a few drops at a time. We're going to be nice and patient here. And once we get our faint pink color and it persists all the way throughout, then we'll shake it up. We'll make sure that the faint pink color is going to stick around for at least 30 seconds, and then your titration is done. Now, if our titration was done at this point, what it would be is at about 13.50 milliliters. So 13.50 milliliters is what we would record right here, because it's just halfway down between the 13 and the 14 mark. So that's your titrations for the first part of our experiment. You're going to do 3 of them, so every person in your group is going to do 1 each for overall grand total of 3. And then after that, you're going to be done for the day, and next week we're going to go ahead and titrate our unknown acid. So if you have any questions, email your instructor, talk to them before class, and we are done for now. See you next time.